"Are you all right, little buddy?" asked the skipper, concerned. "Sure I am, Skipper. You caught me," said Gilligan. What? "Well, now all we can do is watch and wait," said the professor solemnly. They all stood with their eyes focused on the darkening sky. It was soon when the moon and the stars appeared. Suddenly Gilligan pointed up and exclaimed, "Look!" They all jerked their heads towards where he was pointing, and they saw a bright beam of light go sailing across the sky. "Is that it? Is that the spaceship?" asked Gilligan anxiously. "No," E.T. moaned in disappointment. "It's just a shooting star," said the skipper. "Home," E.T. wailed as he looked up at the sky with his eyes becoming misty. "E.T. phone home." "I know just how you feel," said Mr. Howe sympathetically. "I miss my home too, my mansion." E.T. misses playing with his flop glopple? Flop glopple? Flop glopple? What the hell is a flop glopple? I swear, this is something that the person just made up on the top of their head. Flop glopple? Do I even want to know what a flop glopple is? No, I don't. Let's continue. "I miss my Christmases in Miami Beach," Mr. Howell reflected. E.T. misses playing with his jump-ums. "I miss my summers in Maine," Mr. Howell reflected. E.T. misses his citrus plants, E.T. moaned. "I miss throwing surprise parties for my colleagues," Mr. Howell reflected. "I wish I were home." "So do I," said Mrs. Howell. "So do I," said Gilligan. "So do I," said the skipper. "So do I," said Mary Ann. "So do I," said the professor. "So do I," said Ginger. "Shut up! We get the hint! You all miss home! Woohoo!" "E.T. wishes he were home too," E.T. moaned. Ginger looked up at the sky and remembered the shooting star. She remembered a song from their childhood and began singing it softly. "Oh my God, you have got to be kidding me." "When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. This fanfic is really gay. I am wondering how it became this way. This fanfic deserves to be thrown to the moon." Seriously, they are singing "Wish Upon a Star" or whatever the song's called from Pinocchio. They're all singing it. This is stupid. What the... Let's continue without the singing. Then for a while there was... Okay, they used the wrong there. They used the person there, not T-H-E-I-R. Wrong version! Then for a while there was still silence, and then suddenly a breeze began picking up in the air. Well, that sentence made no sense. This is what it should say. For a while there was silence, and then suddenly a breeze began picking up in the air. That would have made more sense. Then, though it was obviously still night, it started to get much brighter. "Look!" Gilligan exclaimed, pointing straight up this time. And this time I'm sure of it. They all looked up and saw a humongous meteorite coming towards the Earth. So the meteorite crashed into the Earth. They all died. The end. Oh, come on. Come on. That ending's a lot better than the story as a whole. Fine, I'll read the rest of the story. They all looked up, and to their amazement they saw a mass of bright white light filling half the sky, and a pink and purple and red clouds began swirling around it. How about just say pink, purple, and red instead of having and every other word? And out of this began to descend a great blue oval-shaped object with many glowing yellow lights around it. "Home!" exclaimed E.T. in breathless joy. Well, technically the ship isn't his home. His home is planet Acerbis, or whatever the person called it. "You did it, Professor. You're a genius," exclaimed Gilligan. "Well, E.T. is a genius, really. I couldn't have done it without him," the professor stated rather modestly. They all watched as E.T.'s spaceship completed his descent to Earth, and as it touched down, letting off steam in its wake, gangplank opened out of the front and descended down onto the ground. "Well, I guess this is goodbye, E.T., said Gilligan as he bent down to hug E.T. goodbye. "Good luck, little buddy." Then the skipper, Professor, and Mr. Howell hugged him. "Goodbye." Oops, sorry. Well, then the skipper, Professor, and Mr. Howell hugged E.T. goodbye, and Ginger, Marianne, and Mrs. Howell also kissed him on the top of his head, and they all turned into toads. A light in E.T.'s chest began to glow a bright ruby red, his version of an erection. "Thank you all very much for helping E.T., he said sincerely, "and because you are all such good and nice and earthlings, E.T. would like to do something for you." Good and nice and earthlings? Don't you mean good and nice earthlings? This person really loves their ands. "You mean take us back to our own homes?" the skipper asked hopefully. "E.T. cannot bring you home, but he will find out if you will get home someday in your own time." Why can't he bring them home? All they have to do is get on his ship. He doesn't even have to bring them home. He can just bring them to the nearest civilized area, and that would get them home.